Welcome back to Runaway Roses. Today I got a big project I'm going to tackle. I'm going to put some airbags on my F450 cab chassis. Been looking forward to that. I've had them in the garage for a couple of months and I finally have some time, some space in the garage to get my truck in here to actually get this job done. So if you want to check it out, stick around. Last year you may have seen I did a video on putting some torque airbags on my 2022 F350. And they went on great. They were a straight bolt on and they worked great. I had no problems with them, and I got them off Amazon, and I'll put a link to those F350 airbags below, but as well as the airbags that I'm going to put on our F450. This is a 2020 F450 cab chassis, so being the cab chassis, it's a little bit different than F450 pickup version. So depending on which type of truck you may have, it may depend on which type of airbag kit that you get. But I'm going to put these torque airbags on there. Like I said, they worked great. I wasn't really planning on necessarily putting these on right away. However, Torque saw my video that I did on our F350 airbags, and they really liked it and they want to see how they worked out for us. And I told them that they worked great for us. I had no problems with them. So they're kind enough to send me a set to put on our F450. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and put them on there. It's going to be a little bit more of a job than on our F350, but I can get it done. Just going to be a little bit more work, not a big deal. So I'm going to open up the box. Let's check it out and see what's inside. These airbags made by Torque are specifically for an F450 or F550 cab chassis truck. So like I said, they are different from what would go on an F350. However, I do still have my set that I had on my F350 because I took them off before I got rid of that truck because I like the airbags so much. I was like, well, I'm going to keep these just in case I get another F350 down the road. But for now, I got this F450 cab chassis truck. So let's open up the box, find out what's inside. I do have the instructions. So got the two airbags, nice heavy duty airbags. And I believe they're 100 PSI airbags. This is a 5,000 load capacity airbag set. And when I had them on my F350, it was more than enough to add an extra 5,000 pounds worth of load capacity to the back of the truck. You know, in addition to the stock suspension that the truck already had, right? So you get the airbags, we get the mounting brackets that are going to bolt up to the frame. I am going to have to drill some holes in the frame. So that is the extra challenge over the ones that I had on the F350. Those are a complete bolt on. On this case, I am going to have to drill some holes in the frame, but not a big deal. It's just going to be a little bit more work. So you got the brackets, you got the air lines, you got some of the mounting hardware, all the bolts and brackets for that, and then the lower mounting plates that go along with the upper mounting plate. So that's it. Pretty similar to the old setup. It's just a matter of getting the dually wheels off and getting to work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. For those of you who have a Ford, know that getting these center caps off the wheels can be very difficult. And if you have a truck camper, I got a little tip for you, because you most likely have a turnbuckle similar to this, Fast Gun, or one of these from Happy Jack. I found they just take that hook end, stick it through that slot in there. I'm going to use this side. Actually, it works pretty good. Pull and then just pull on it. But it'll come. There it is. It's tight, but it'll come off without damaging the center cap. So that's a pretty cool little tip. Figured out because they make special tools for these, but I don't have one. My impact wrench broke not too long ago, so now I'm stuck using my little Makita wrench thing here. So now that I got the lug nuts broken loose, I can just go ahead and pull them on off. reason I went with Torque a year ago when I put them on my F350 was because I noticed that Torque actually makes airbags for heavy duty trucks, you know, like tractor trailer type trucks, you know, Freightliners, Peterbilt, whatever. So I figured if they were good enough for them, they're definitely going to be good enough for me to put on my truck and haul my camper around. So let's take a closer look at the airbag and just see what kind of quality they got. Here's a little closer look at the airbag. It is pre-tested. It's actually made in Turkey, and it looks like the exact same airbag as I had before. I don't know if it is the exact same part number or not, but very heavy duty, real thick rubber, and it's a convoluted style with the two separate like airbags. I guess it's all one, but it looks like two. It's got like a little rib that goes around the center of it for some strength, and then the hardware on it, it's very heavy duty, very thick. Looks like maybe 3/16, close to a quarter or something like that as far as the steel goes. Nice heavy duty stuff. Let me show you where I've gotten so far on just kind of mocking up the one side. I've been just kind of loosely setting in the airbag set here, and you can see it's all loose. The top's not even mounted at all. It's just sitting on top of the airbag. So what I've done is just kind of loosely mounted the bottom bracket. You got to have a spacer here to try to help kind of level out that bracket, you know, with the frame, so that way the airbag stays level with the frame. And because of the curve of the spring, you have to put the spacer on this side to actually kind of help level it out. So kind of mock that up, and then basically what I need to do now is line this top bracket up. I'm gonna have to mark my holes, drill holes in the frame, and then mount on the top bracket. One thing I have to keep in mind is I'm actually doing the easier side, which is the passenger side of the truck at the moment, because behind the frame there's nothing behind this side of the frame. On the driver's side, there's some fuel lines and some wiring and that sort of thing, and I have to be careful when I drill the holes on the other side. I have to move all that stuff out of the way on the back side of the frame, but on this side I'm free and clear, and I can drill the holes without having to worry about it. Well, that was a bit of a challenge drilling out those 3 holes. I had to go from the small hand drill over to, I had to bust out the big guns to get the job done a little bit easier. But let me show you what I did. The frame is very thick, but I did not have to drill the bottom one. I did have to drill the top one there on the right side, and then the 2 there on the left side of the airbag. So now I can go ahead and get the top mounting bracket bolted on and keep going. Well, I got the passenger side on. Wasn't too bad. So now I just have to duplicate everything over on the driver's side. I'm gonna flip the truck around to give me a little bit more room over here to take the wheels off and that sort of thing. But with this kit, it also does cover some other year models. It's not just for a 2020. It also actually covers, I think, some older ones. So it comes with some extra hardware. So it just kind of depends on which model truck that you have as to which hardware that you'll use on the install. So some of it I'm obviously not using, but let me show you what I've done. I've always heard that the steel wheels on these 19.5s weigh a whole lot more than the aluminum wheels, so let's find out. I got my scale there, so let's weigh them both. Wheel the steel wheel up here. My tires are almost new. I got just an old style scale here, so I'm gonna roll it up here. It's heavy. You zoom in here. About 120 pounds. Steel wheel and tire, 19.5 inch. All right, now let's weigh the aluminum wheel. Roll it up here. Zoom in. about what, about 104, 105 pounds. There you go. That's pretty interesting. So there's only about a 15-pound difference between the steel and aluminum wheel. I've always heard it was a whole lot more, so not that much. Now we know. All right, I got the torque airbags in on both sides. I got the air lines ran. I did have to adjust the bolts and brackets on the lower mount just a little bit just to make them work for my application, but it's looking good. Let's go check out the other side. Here is the driver's side. Got that installed. Airline fittings up there. I tested all the air fittings with soapy water. Everything's good. And what I did was I put my air fittings right there next to my def tank on the side of my flatbed, so now I can get to them nice and easy, and I can get to them when I have the camper on. Well, I let my truck sit overnight, and I noticed that one of my airbags was leaking, and so what I ended up doing was I took the fitting off the top of the airbag, and then I put some thread tape on there, and this time I actually put some it's actually for gas line, copper gas line, so I put that on there. I figure if it's good enough to hold back some propane, that it's going to work on the air for the airbag, so I'll put that on there. I ended up taking the other one off the second airbag as well. I redid both of them, sealed them back up, pressurized them back up to 70 psi where it says to put it to test it, and so far so good. Right now the airbag's got 70 psi. You can see how it's kind of bulged out a little bit, and that's what it's supposed to do. That's what it looks like. Here's the fitting on top where I put some thread tape. Since I got the wheels off the truck, I figured I might as well go ahead and give them a good cleaning. If you look at this steel wheel down here, it looks really bad compared to the one over there that I cleaned. So I doubt that the inner wheels have probably ever been cleaned, so I figured I'd go ahead and get them all cleaned up and then get back on the truck so we can go camping. So far everything feels great. I got about 30 psi in the airbags. Could put more in there, so I may try that, although I don't really need it at the moment. My truck actually sits level the way that it is, so if I need to add some height, I can put some more air in them. Otherwise, I may just run with them with about 30 psi. If I add a trailer, which I may do, if I add our car hauler with our Jeep on the back, then I will most certainly put some extra air in the airbags. That way it'll help support the back end with the weight of the camper on there as well. Well, I just got back from the ride. Everything went great. The truck rode smooth. I had about 30 psi in the airbags and they worked great. I think right now that's about all I need. The truck's riding level. If I need to put some more air in the back and raise the back end up, I can do that. So if we're at a campsite and I need to raise the back end up just a little bit, I can put some air in the airbags and raise it up. So that's nice. But I think they'll mainly come into play when I have our trailer on the back, car hauler with our Jeep on it. It's got some extra tongue weight. So then I can put some extra air in the airbags. Probably put 70, 80 psi, something like that. I don't know. I'll have to see how it goes when I get to that point. But so that way I can have some adjustability with the pressure of the airbags and how much the back of the truck is sagging. I can actually adjust that out. So that's going to be nice. I want to say thank you to Torque for sending me these airbags. If they're anywhere as good as the F450 Torque airbags that I had, then I know they're going to be great, because I was very happy with those, and so I'm looking forward to using these down the road. So appreciate everybody watching. Hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you next time on Runaway Roses. Bye bye.